Hey, how's it going out there today, everybody? Hope everybody's having a great day. Gonna do a update on my remote start I had put on my truck. I've had a few people ask me about this. I'm really happy with it, I gotta say. Now the model I have put on is an Excalibur brand, and the model is RS370. RS370. I got the box put away back there. I don't feel like digging it out. I'll put a picture up here or something to show you what it is. Now, Excalibur is a good brand for trucks. Make sure you get one that's for a diesel. I think there's something in the model numbers that are for diesel. You do a little research on it. I can't remember what it is. I think most of the RS models are good for diesels, because you want it. See, what happens is when I double tap my start button, it kicks the ignition on for 15 seconds before it cranks the truck. That lets the truck go through its cycles, of all of its checks and everything. It lets the glow plugs heat up, fires up the truck. Now, the way it works is it's wired into the brake pedal, so I can start this with the remote start. Say I get out of the truck, okay? I take my key with me. I just keep a standard key like this in the ignition. I take this key with me. I can still remote start this truck without the key. You cannot steal this truck if I start it with the remote start and I have the key. You got to have the key in the on position to drive away in the truck. You don't have to have it in the on position to start it. I've had people ask me about that. So, the only thing is, if you start it with the remote start, you got to have that key in the on position, because if you hit that brake pedal without that key in the on position, it will turn the truck off. It's a safety feature. It's an anti-theft feature. Just thought I'd let you know about that. Now, the reason I have a remote start on the truck is because I don't have an APU. And I was, searching for things, to cut my idle time down. And so I was looking for the Park Smart system for my Freightliner, because mine didn't come with it, but I was looking at installing it. Whoa, that's expensive. A used Park Smart system's about $4,300 plus the install. Then you got to have software installed, because it needs to kick on and crank and charge the batteries. The Park Smart, if you guys don't know, real quick, the Park Smart is the battery operated APU, the electric APU that Freightliner has. So that was kind of a little bit more than I wanted to pay, and a lot more work. Diesel APUs, you can get them used, remanned for like $6,000, all the way up to, like a new Carrier Comfort Pro for $13,000. I didn't want to spend that kind of money, honestly. I just didn't. I bought this truck, and I'm not against APUs. Let me explain the scenario for you real quick, and you'll see why I did it, and hopefully, it makes sense for not getting an APU. So when I first bought this truck, it had 400,000 miles on it. I still think at 400,000 miles, you're a candidate for an APU. I still think it's a good idea to put one on. I bought this truck in February of 2020. Right as the sky was falling, with that thing that came over from China. So at that point, I had just bought a truck, and the freight market just fell out. So I said, oh man, I can't put, I just put a huge down payment on a truck, and I need money in the bank in case something goes wrong. So I can't really afford to come off $6,000 for an APU right now. So we got later over into the summer, the freight market got better. By the time I felt comfortable with it was probably like this spring, 2021 spring. The truck's got 600,000 miles on it now. Now we're kind of borderline of, or would we ever get our money back on an APU? So that's kind of like, if I was doing it right now, buying a truck with 400,000 miles, to me, no brainer. I'd go pay the $6,000, $7,000, get the reman APU put on it. But it was timing, and market conditions were really what kept me from wanting to do it. So I'm on Google, I'm just searching around, I'm trying to find this, I'm trying to find that. I look into an Opti-Idle system, you know, that comes on these trucks, like a retrofit Opti-Idle. I mean, like, you know, they're wanting like $2,000 for an Opti-Idle, and then you got to pay to have it installed and everything. And I'm just like, whew, we're getting expensive, you know. And I've got a bunk heater, and I live in Minnesota, and I run, you know, basically, I would say 80% of my loads are like, you know, I-40 and above. Probably 50% of my loads are I-70 and above, so I stay in cool climates most of the time. So as far as return on investment, an APU would take a long time for me, especially considering I already have the bunk heater. I don't idle a whole lot, you know, so I just wanted something for when it's really hot out and I don't have to let the truck idle all night, because my truck has the Arctic package, which means it's insulated a little better. And like right now, the sun is, I mean, I don't know if you can see the sun over here. The sun is glaring. I've got good window shades I put in. The sun's right in front of me right now. So I got good window shades I put in. I got curtains I close in the front, and then I close my back curtains as well. It'll hold temperature back there fairly well, actually. So, what I needed was something just to run the truck a little bit to cool it down and then cut it off. Opti-Idle was a good option, but Opti-Idle was too expensive, honestly. And you know, to have it all wired in and everything, it just didn't make sense. Doing some research, I stumbled into these remote starts. These remote starts have lots of options and features on them. You can get them where the remote is like got a screen on it, and it tells you everything that's going on, you know. Some of the key features, the reason I chose this remote start, number one, made for diesels. Number two, it has a programmable runtime. When I double tap this start button, I got to reprogram, like, you know, you got to like push a sequence of buttons here, you know, so you got, and it's got a whole chart that tells you how to do it. But like, when I crank this, or when I do the remote start to crank the truck, I can have the truck run for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or 30 minutes. And that's nice, because when I wake up at night and it's hot back there, I can double tap the button and it cranks the truck, and I go right back to sleep. And the truck runs for, I've got it programmed for 30 minutes right now. It runs for 30 minutes. I leave my AC on full blast. And typically with the Arctic package and the curtains closed and everything, that buys me 2 to 3 hours back there of you know, getting to sleep without being hot, you know. So instead of running for 2 or 3 hours, because I wouldn't wake up for 2 or 3 hours, truck turns itself off automatically now, and cuts my idle time way, way down. Another feature that this one has is you can program it for low temperature and high temperature starts. So I can program this to, like, in the summer, you can program it for 75 degrees, 90 degrees, and 110 or 120 degrees, I think. You know, it's a feature for car owners that have pets. You know, you can have it where when the temperature on the remote start module, it's got a little temp sensor built into it. When it gets 75 degrees, it kicks the truck on and runs for your predetermined run time, which would be 30 minutes for me. That is really nice, let me tell you. Now, I have my remote start mounted right under the dash by the steering column. So sometimes 75 degrees there, when I first shut down the truck, it wants to kick on a little too soon, you know. Like here where I'm at, it is 82 degrees right now, and I've been parked for about an hour and a half, and it is still perfectly reasonable in this truck. It is, you know, the outside temperature, and we know the air temperature being 82 in a truck stop parking lot, it's probably more like 100 degrees out there right now. So I get by okay, but that 75 is a little low sometimes. So I typically don't run that feature unless, like, I'm parking somewhere where it's really hot outside. And it's got a low volt run time to protect your batteries. If your batteries get too low, it'll kick the truck on and run that. You know, for a little 70. I think I gave less than $60 for this thing, and I paid $300 to have a guy install it for me. If you're not confident enough to install it yourself and you don't know someone that can install it, I would recommend call around to car stereo installers and alarm installers, because that's the type of people that are going to know what needs to be hooked up on this thing. $300 was for the basic install. Basically, they got to wire in, your ignition, your power. They got to wire in all these things, a brake safety. If you've got a manual, you'll have to, they got to wire into the clutch sensor, stuff like that. But it's not something you can't do. It's just, it might be better to pay a professional to do it. That's what I did. I had a buddy of mine knew a guy that runs a car audio alarm business. I took it over there, dropped it off, called me the next day, said, hey, you're ready to go. I really, really enjoy it. I tell you, a feature that I find very useful on this thing is if I've got enough air pressure after I get loaded or unloaded, if I got enough air pressure, whenever I get a green light, I push in my trailer valve before I go into the office. This remote works from 1,500 feet away. So as soon as they hand me my paperwork, I double tap that start button. That truck's already running. When I get there, I'm building air pressure. I'm building pressure to the trailer, which is key for me because typically when I get unloaded, I slide the tandems back, so I don't have to sit there and build air pressure. When I get in the truck, my air pressure is already built, and I can just pull forward, get out, shut my doors, slide my tandems back, and I'm gone. It's not a huge savings. It's a couple minutes, but hey, it's a couple minutes. And sometimes that's all you need to get to your next stop on time. So that's it, guys. I'll throw in a quick video here to show you how I've got it set up in the bunk. Maybe that'll help somebody out to make your life a little better. But yeah, that's the key features. I do like it. I think for $400 all in, it's a no-brainer for me. It's a no-brainer. It's just so nice when I'm, like back there asleep and it gets a little warm in there. I just roll over, hit the button twice, and like half the time I do it, I don't even realize I've done it. Like I got where I can do it in my sleep. So I've made it that simple. But thanks everybody for watching. If you would hit that like button, if you've made it this far, subscribe to the channel, or at least think about it if you would. Join me for a live show. Check out that description down below for the Mudflap fuel app. Saving a lot of money on that these days. Check that out. I got a merch tent, buy you some Cash is King merch. Check out my other channel, Trucking with Diabetes, all that fun stuff. Thanks everybody for watching. Hang tight. Next clip coming. Bye. All right, so we're back here in the bunk now, and this is the remote start second remote. I've got it mounted back here, little 3M Velcro there, the plastic, good stuff. Clicks it in, and I put a little piece of that Velcro on the front here, and that's the start button for the truck. So I double tap that, and it starts. So if I wake up in the night and it's hot in this truck, instead of trying to fiddle around and figure out where the button is, I can just easily reach over here, fill that Velcro, double tap that button.